100 videos. I honestly can't believe it. 100 videos. And most of them suck ass. But hey, at least I can admit that they're garbage. Maybe not. Maybe that makes it worse. The fact that I know that they're bad and just continue on. Well, either way, enough with the self deprecation. We have to commemorate this since it is 100 videos, and I guess if there is a video that I should make and that I've been thinking of making at 100, it's Brawl Stars because, okay, well, if you don't know this, I might as well explain this right now. But my profile picture, have you seen that thing? You know, the thing that's, it's like, yeah, yeah. But if you see that, you have to realize that what is this from? That's the first reaction anyone gets from when looking at a profile picture. Like, what is this a reference to? Where did this come from? What is this like showing about a person's personality, etc., whatever. Well, my profile picture is in fact from this game, so that's not the only thing that's from this game actually. It's my username. I actually made it from this game because I'm that creative that my name is a pun on the name. Brawl Stars. You take Brawl Stars and you replace the stars with the ending of banana, so it's like Brawl Nana. Did I just blow your mind away? I bet I did. Such a creative name, I know. But yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that's BB from Brawl Stars. I forgot to mention that, but yeah, BB from Brawl Stars. My username is a pun on Brawl Stars. And yeah, I know I never mentioned my username on like basically anywhere. But yeah, it's the forbidden name in a sense. I never mention it because I just have it there and I don't think I want to change it because if I'm being realistic here, had it not been for Brawl Stars, I would have never created a Reddit account and, inadvertently I would have never been on the internet basically. Like that was sort of my gateway into internet, like any community at all in general. So whether or not I don't basically talk with that community anymore or I'm not a part of it, I still gotta recognize that, yeah, this kind of, even before I made a YouTube channel, this was like my beginning, basically, my introduction to making anything at all. And it's kind of strange to think about. Had it not been for this game, I would have probably never made any sort of edits. Because that's kind of what's spawned this whole editing thing. Like, yeah, sure, at school I had gotten some like ideas to make stuff, but it was really that made me like start to truly make stuff in a sense. On that note, you might be wondering, why did I stop playing this game? Or maybe not. You probably don't have that idea. Maybe it's only like one person, but you have to wonder, why is it that if most of my channel is kind of like tailored to one specific thing, and I've never once played it, nor have I really mentioned it, how come? Well, I guess I can state that at least in this video, and I know I've recorded this twice at this point, and this is my like third time doing it, so I'm not gonna be as aggressive as I was the first two couple of times because I feel like I was sort of repeating the same points, and I'm just gonna give it to you straight real quick here. Couple of things. First of all, positives. I like the character designs. If you can't tell, I do really like the character designs. I like the art style. The skins are pretty nice, and sometimes the community is pretty awesome too. Like with the whole creating skins for the game, I thought that was pretty interesting. I know other games have stuff like that, but I just felt like it was like the devs were like allowing you to make stuff and giving more freedom and creativity, and it felt nice to have that in the game, which is probably why I stuck around for as long as I did, was simply because the devs were able to add a community element and keep that community element throughout the entire game. However, just because you have a good community does not always mean the game itself is good. And that's where I'm going to start getting into a couple of the negatives now. Now that I started to, you know, I'll alternate a little bit basically. Negative number 1. The community is whiny as fuck. Like hella whiny. I remember like this isn't just limited to Brawl Stars, but seeing as it's primarily children that play this or even like young adults, you get a lot of people with like, oh, give me free gems, give me free this, and oh, I didn't, I really disliked that part so many times. Oh, this character is overpowered, and it's like, oh, this thing, and it's like, it just really started to annoy me. It was like every single day you'd see someone complain about something very arbitrary, and it just like, to me over time I just started to like cancel it out, and at that point I was like, okay, I don't really care about that anymore. Next thing that was, I guess, another negative is well, I didn't like the introduction of new things. And yes, I just mentioned that the community aspect was good, that the fact that they listened, but I felt like they listened a little too much, and because of that they kept adding so many things. And while adding things isn't always bad, I feel like it detracted from what I originally enjoyed from the game. So the things that I really liked from the game was how simple it was and really how straightforward the gameplay was. Like, I understand people really like complexity and diversity in games, but the fact that you only had like practically 2 buttons, and like the only other thing you could really do is move a little better, like that's about all you had in terms of tech. The next was just aiming with certain characters like sharpshooters and strafing, as they say. Like all of this was so basic. You didn't have any extra stuff. You just had that plus the star power, which, by the way, I think the star powers are not bad. I think the star powers are probably one of the only good things that they've basically kept in the game. Second star powers, by the way, I actually really like second star powers. Those are really good, and when they first added them, sure, a bunch of them were overpowered, but overall it kept the game fresh. It it didn't feel like they added the second star powers and it felt overwhelming, because star powers are just passive abilities for the most part. They're not really like giving someone a different like move or a different thing, and to me it didn't really make the game that much more different. So when they first added second star powers, I didn't think that was bad. This isn't like the only thing that they've changed, by the way. They've added a bunch of new characters, and I don't usually mind new characters. Like when they were still adding characters before the pass came out, the Brawl Pass, I enjoyed it. I liked having characters like Jean, Max, and even though Rosa was a bit overpowered when she was released, as soon as she got toned down, I thought she was a little bit interesting, at least somewhat. That she could be like a sort of tank, because if you didn't know, like for the most part, tanks have always usually sucked in the game. Like, and if they ever make tanks overpowered, well, it usually doesn't really end up that being that fun, I guess. I mean, most overpowered characters aren't fun to play, honestly. But yeah, basically, the like addition of new characters with the Brawl Pass, I felt like they were adding way too many characters. And I remember when even adding 2 characters like per season was a lot. Like, I know that they don't always release more than like 1, but back then when there was only like 30 or 20 characters, like it didn't feel like they were adding much because there wasn't that many characters. And now looking at how many characters there is, I'm just taken aback because back in the day when there was less characters, I was like happy to get new ones, but now I'm like, there's no need for new characters. Like honestly, that's just what I think at least. Like at some point it just becomes way too much. And for me personally, that's when I really started to like sort of dislike the game a little more, was having to keep up with the new character. And as I haven't mentioned this yet, but the gadgets, when they introduced gadgets, well, that was another thing where I originally wasn't really too like distasteful on it because I thought it was fun. They had introduced second star powers a year ago, and then a year later they introduced gadgets, which I thought was fair because progression wise it makes sense. Every year they're adding something new, but there is a little thing that I think completely ruined, and I think was the start of my downfall for my distaste towards this game, and it was the addition of second gadgets. Because they had just released the gadgets, like, I'm not sure if it was 4 months ago, 6 months ago, but it wasn't too long. And then they released second gadgets. They announced that they were going to release second gadgets, and once they announced that, I felt like a little bit of my heart sink in. Like, what am I, what am I even waiting for at this point? Like, they're just gonna keep adding stuff. There's no time for the meta to settle in. There's no time for anything to settle in. It's just new, and it just felt like they kept adding stuff because the community wanted more, and I personally couldn't keep up with that. I didn't like the fact that every single other week there was a new meta because they introduced a new gadget, because this gadget made this character good now, or this gadget made this character even stronger than before. And this isn't even mentioning the fact that they already introduced new characters, which that just ruined the meta too. Like, you had new characters being introduced along with new gadgets being introduced, and even star powers, like a couple star powers. But yeah, all of these things combined together just completely, like, just I couldn't take it all in, and the meta was evolving way faster than I personally had enough time at the time, because well, I wasn't feeling as like good in myself. I wasn't in a good place at the time, and I just felt like they added way too much way too quickly. They didn't give the community enough time to fully digest everything that had been added, and they just kept moving forward, and for me I couldn't keep up with that, honestly. I know some people enjoyed the fact that there was new content, that there was new diversity in the game, but for me personally, it felt like they were rushing things and they were making things quickly because they just wanted to have more attention on the game, and it really felt like I got disconnected from the devs at that point, was as soon as they started releasing more stuff. And I know not everyone is going to feel this way, and it's why I'm not saying it in as aggressive as I can. I'm saying it in a more like, it's debatable as to whether or not this was good or bad for the game. And personally, I haven't kept up with the game, so I don't know how the game is. I've seen a couple of things. I think the esports is doing pretty decent, which, I thought it was pretty nice. The esports was always nice for this game, honestly. I've always thought that this game had some pretty nice, at least for a mobile game, had pretty nice esports potential. And well, yeah, it was kind of integrated into the game with the competitive nature of the characters and being able to switch, making competitive teams in a sense. It's always been there since the start of like 3v3. And I guess I should also mention that, which is another reason why I didn't keep playing this game, and it was because, well, I played this game competitively, and it wasn't like super competitive because I wasn't the greatest player. I was like slightly above average, as they would say, and I had put some time into it, but whenever I would play competitively, it was fun to play with people who I knew were pretty decent themselves, and being able to push up with those people, right? But a lot of the time, I didn't have those people to play with. I didn't have teammates to rely on, in a sense. So I'd go in the random queue, and you can't really expect to get any good teammates from that. It's a team game, and because of that, you need good teammates, or you need teammates that are willing to play. In that sense, someone like me who's a little bit more to himself, and not even like to myself, but just a little bit more of a solo player, I don't mind playing with friends, and I don't mind playing like casually in that sense, but at some point you can't even play casually when you get super high up in trophies, because every character just, you get them, you keep playing with them because you want to get more competitive, and it just goes way too high, and at some point you can't even play casually anymore because it's based on your trophies. It's not based on like anything else. It's like a double-edged sword. I like the fact that each character has its own trophy, but at the same time I don't like not being able to play that character again because it just is too high in trophies. If not, I'm just gonna lose trophies, and me being competitive in nature, I don't want to lose trophies in that sense. I don't want to have my character go down. So every single time I would try to play, even just casually, it felt like such a chore because I'm like, okay, well, do I want to lose trophies or do I want to have fun? And for me, it just kind of sapped a little bit of more fun from the game. And I know not everyone is going to agree with that because I know it's more of a personal complaint, and it's more based on how I view the game more than how the game is actually played. But yeah, it just competitively, the game is good, but casually at some point it starts being less enjoyable. And well, at that point I was less competitive and more casual, and I guess that's where that disconnect happened even more. This isn't even mentioning the final thing that I want to talk about, which I know just mentioned teammates and everything and being solo. But my favorite game modes, not just favorite game modes, but my favorite characters too. Like, I don't know if you heard this, if you're paying attention earlier, but I mentioned the tanks, and that's because for me the tanks were always the most enjoyable to play. Uh, BB's one of my favorite characters to play as, and I know I say the tanks are my favorite, but that doesn't always mean that they were my favorite. I like characters like Colt, Ricochet, even Sprout, because I liked his ability to create walls. Mr. Mr. P, I forget his name, but the penguin guy. That guy's pretty fun to play. I really enjoyed these characters that had like unique mechanics to them and differing attacks. And I also really enjoyed characters that had close range because I enjoyed being able to get in front of a character and just killing them off in the sense. But the thing is, a lot of the tank characters are just really bad in the game. Like, honestly, the only good tank characters are the ones with like less HP. That's usually the ones that are really good. Back when Edgar was released, he wasn't even more of a tank. He was like a close range, but he was good because he was fast and he had the ability to get his super again. Same with Daryl for a certain time. He had the ability to get a super, and they eventually added that to other characters like El Primo. And while it was nice to have these characters basically improved, whenever they improved them, everyone was using them, and it made them less enjoyable for me to use in that sense. I still enjoy them though. I don't care if they're meta, to be honest. I would still play someone like El Primo over someone like, I don't know, maybe Max. Although I don't hate Max, but I'd rather play him over someone like that basically. I still enjoy other characters, and I've usually played the other characters because they were meta in a sense. But I still kind of miss being able to play close range characters. But most of them just aren't that good, honestly. So if I can't play as my favorite characters, the game goes down in enjoyability, if that makes any sense. Same with favorite game modes. I really enjoyed the showdown modes. I also enjoyed Brawl Ball, but more than anything, I enjoyed the showdown modes because, yeah, they were basically battle royales. They were battle royales before they were cool. Not really, but yeah, I enjoyed playing them, and they have a lot of problems, honestly. First of all, Duo Showdown is honestly a lot more RNG than it is skill, to be honest. If you're in the perfect position, you basically win the game. It doesn't matter how bad you are, it doesn't matter how many power points you have. You could quite literally just win the game based on your positioning, based on who the other teams are attacking. And in that sense, it is a battle royale, but it also can't work exactly the same as a battle royale because, well, that's just how the game is. You can't really do much about it. People are gonna attack other people, and you just have to hope that they're attacking the same person you are, or if they're coming after you, they're basically like in a very difficult position where if they tried pushing, they would get attacked instantly. So the game becomes a lot more like just luck, I guess. It's more of luck and positioning more than skill in that sense. And even more so with Solo Showdown, which the biggest problem was just teaming. People teamed all the time, and it basically made it unplayable. I remember playing other characters like Edgar or even BB because I wanted to go up against the teamers, but it's impossible. You can't really do much against teamers, and in the game, it's kind of like you can't really do much against teamers if you go up against a lobby full of people who are just gonna go up against you. It's like you're going 9v1. It's not even solo showdown anymore. It's you versus everyone showdown, which makes it a lot less fun in that sense. And those two being my favorite modes and really not being that interesting in that sense, like not interesting, but not being as enjoyable to play the higher up I got. It kind of just sucks, honestly. I can't really do much about that, which is why I really played Brawl Ball for the most part, because Brawl Ball was probably the most enjoyable competitive mode. And because of that, it made like almost all the other modes not that enjoyable. Like, I just really like Brawl Ball, and yeah, that's basically all I can say about Brawl Ball is that probably the best game mode, if we're being honest, just competitively and casually. It's always going to be the best game mode. It's even better than something like Gem Grab. I think if I were to rate it, I would say that it's like probably the only S tier game mode in that game, besides like, you know, Duo Showdown for me, which I really enjoy. And yeah, Brawl Ball was fun, but it's not like you can do much about the fact that it's probably one of the only game modes that I actually enjoyed in that game. So yeah, basically all of my game modes except for like one were basically unplayable competitively. And the only one that was available to be played competitively, well, I guess it wasn't enough in a sense because I wanted to play the other ones that I enjoyed more, and I couldn't really do that anymore because, well, they've always been like that. So I kind of got tired of that, and coming back now to play a little bit, I realized that it's fun to play like maybe one or two games or a couple of games, just hop on, but it's just not my thing anymore. I don't know if I would ever truly play this game again. I might keep it downloaded at this point because, man, I do enjoy playing Duo Showdown and Brawl Ball too, but yeah, the game isn't the same as it used to be, and it's why I really quit 3 years ago. Kind of sucks, to be honest. But yeah, that's enough about me hating the game and all of that, because I think at this point I'm over that. I don't need to explain why I've quit something. But now at this point, I want to explain what I will be doing because, well, I don't know if I will continue playing this game now, but I don't I don't think I'm gonna be able to do much in a sense. I'm just gonna enjoy what I enjoy at this point. Stop looking at things as critically as I used to back when I was like 17. turning 18, I don't know. And yeah, that's basically all I can really say. At this point, I only have a couple things to mention because this is the 100th video and it is pretty long now that I look at the time. I do want to mention a couple of things. First of all, for the future of this channel. Okay, you know what? Screw it. I'm not going to talk about the future because I've always talked about the future. We're doing the past today. So, I did mention Brawl Stars was an inspiration in a sense, but I want to mention a couple other inspirations to this YouTube channel and just to making videos in general. First of all, I want to mention my good friend that I've mentioned in a couple videos. Yeah. I think having talked with them just in VC and being able to talk with someone else after, I don't know, years of having talked to no one, it kind of brought me back out again. And I felt like it was enjoyable to talk to people about how I felt, about what I was thinking. And that's kind of why I started making YouTube videos, was because I wanted to tell people how I felt. And if you ever do go back to my old videos, which I don't recommend you do actually, but if you do go back, you could see a lot of just me not really caring too much, just kind of doing these because I wanted to do it. And it kind of seems a bit messy in that sense, not having a goal. But now that I've come around, in a sense, I've started to take things a little bit more seriously. Even if I'm like calmed a bit down from back then, and I can look at myself a little bit more critically, I think that I can still improve. And I do thank that friend for having brought me out of my shell again. That's not the only thing I need to mention though. It's kind of weird to say that one of my inspirations isn't even a person. Like, how are you supposed to say to someone, hey, you know what inspired me to become a great person? It was my dog. And it's like, what? How? And you're like, well, they can't even talk to you. How can a dog be an inspiration? But, well, when I was making this YouTube channel, my dog was very sick at that point. He was like basically on the verge of dying at that point. And I was just taking care of him, and I guess seeing him in that state maybe like activated something deep within me. And I kind of wanted to do things for my dog, in a sense, like make a YouTube channel for my dog. It sounds stupid, but that's the only way I can explain it. Like, I wanted to start making videos because my dog was in bad condition, in a sense. And it wasn't to pay for anything like that. Although one of my motivations originally, I've already mentioned this before, was to make money, of course. But I wanted to make a YouTube channel because, in a sense, I wanted to track myself, how I felt, basically, back when my dog was still alive. He's not alive anymore. He's sadly passed away, but he's in my memories, in a sense. And having him in my memories has helped me move forward, in a sense. I can't really explain why. And I know that I think about him every now and then, but I have to move past that, in a sense. And I keep saying in a sense way too much because I'm losing my thought process, but yeah, basically having something to push you forward, in a sense. Ah, fucking gosh, damn it. Having something to push me forward really helped to create this YouTube channel. And now that I have created it, I finally started sort of feeling like I have a YouTube channel. As weird as that sounds, back then I sort of felt like I had videos, but now I feel like I have a channel, a community, people who I can talk with and interact. And it's been pretty fun now. I can't make as many videos because I'm working right now, but as soon as I get myself some more free time, which I've been looking at my schedule and I basically have like 3 days of free time. So I'm gonna try to do my best on those 3 days. Now I have a deadline for sure. So I was originally gonna say that I couldn't do more videos, but now that I have kind of become a little bit more accustomed to, I feel like if I can become more accustomed to my circumstance, I'll definitely be able to release more videos and create more things in a sense. Gosh, yeah, talking isn't my specialty, as you can tell. And yeah, I want to improve that too. But of course, I have to look at my past self and look at what motivates me to then be able to create stuff and to motivate other people potentially. And I think something that's really shown me this has been, well, my most popular video, I guess. Seeing how many people reacted to it, how many people liked that video. It's been nice for me personally, seeing how many people enjoyed something I made. Even if it isn't like very popular or the greatest video of all time. It makes me a little bit happy that there are people that enjoyed that, because I enjoyed making that. So for the first time when I've created a video, I've actually seen what people thought of it. And not just a little bit, like a lot of people, not like a little, like a lot. And it's been like a little bit heartwarming in a sense. It's motivated me to continue making more videos in a sense. And hopefully that video might even inspire some people. Something that I have mentioned before is one of my inspirations is make something to inspire other people. Because I've always felt like I couldn't create these great things and these magnificent like videos. I've always looked at myself as like a subpar in a sense, and while I am in a way subpar and still like a rookie, it's the creation that has truly made me realize that maybe I do have the ability to create things, but I haven't put in the work yet. I need to put in more work, put in more effort, and maybe I might actually be able to create something else. Not only one good video, but continuously create fun videos in a sense. Videos that might cause an impact on YouTube. And yeah, it's not even a community thing anymore. It's like an ambition in a sense to maybe not get popular, but to sort of have my name known. And maybe that is popularity in a sense, or ego, one of the two. But I hope you guys can stick around until that happens. Or maybe not. Maybe that'll be bad. Maybe I'll become like a rotten egg by that point. But yeah. That's about all I have to say, to be honest. Oh yeah, one more thing. One more thing. And I have to mention this because I can't hide this forever. And I have to get this out there at some point. And that is that okay. Is it embarrassing to admit certain things? It is actually. Gosh damn it. Well, I guess you guys will have to wait until that. Oh yeah, no, this is an actual one more thing that I have to mention. There is one video. Yes, there is exactly one video that has been removed by YouTube because of a copyright violation, and it's still there, but nobody can see it basically. It's basically like privated. So maybe I should re-release it without the copyrighted music, but it was released a year ago, and that was basically my first YouTube video ever. So maybe I should re-release it at some point, even though it's not the greatest thing I've ever made. But it wouldn't make sense without the copyrighted music. So I'm kind of still debating as to whether or not it should be released. So yeah, that's basically it. I've been speaking for too long. Holy shit. But yeah, that's about it for this video. Hope you enjoyed the Brawl Stars gameplay. I finally did it. Played Brawl Stars on a video. Insane. And that's basically it. Goodbye. And have a good day. See ya.